Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast to the protection against heavy rain and flooding by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe.
So the big challenge is, how can house owners like you and me get a flood-free home? How can business managers like you and me get a flood-free company? And how can public servants provide flood-free critical infrastructure and livable cities?
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe. This podcast is for foresighted and proactive people who do not want to shovel the muddy water out of their room while standing in the midst of the disaster.
Therefore, those who design and plan, the architects and engineers, need to construct such buildings and cities, and that even when the entire environment is completely flooded. That is a challenge, and this podcast will give the answers.
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe.
Yeah, hello and welcome to another episode of Flood Protection Secrets. I will talk about the broken promise when floods destroy the lobby of a hotel. How one flooded hotel lobby became a warning for the entire hospitality industry. And before I start, I must tell you, that is a true story. And in times of artificial intelligence, it is really necessary to add that. And I some weeks later, after this story, when it happened, I was personally there, and so I can really tell you that really happened. So it was supposed to be the perfect weekend in Dubai on April 16, 2024, and it was a Tuesday. And the weekend before, the sun was shining. Then the palm trees swayed in the wind, and guests were arriving at the hotel for weddings, conferences, or well-deserved holiday. And perhaps you were there in Dubai already. Normally, you don't expect any bad weather, perhaps a sandstorm. From time to time. It never happened to me, by the way, a sandstorm. But in this particular case, 2024 in April, the concierge was greeting visitors with a smile. You know, normally they're very, very kind. They always greet you. And you got fresh towels, welcome drinks, and you know, these small towels when it is very wet and hot outside. Welcome drinks and luggage trolleys stood ready. So then the rain started. And at first it was gentle, just a tropical drizzle. But within minutes the sky turned black. Sheets of water poured from the heavens. The drainage system outside couldn't cope. Water began flowing toward the main entrance, and the security team scrambled. Staff rushed to place towels under doors, but it was already too late. The floodwater pushed through the entrance. It spilled into the elegant lobby, onto polished floors, past designer furniture, over the power sockets. And within 20 minutes, the heart of the hotel was underwater. Electric systems shortened out. Elevators shut down. Bookings were cancelled. Guests fled. And the hotel manager, he stood in disbelief, staring at the damage, knowing full well this flood could have been prevented. And as I've said, that is a true story. And this is not fiction. This is what happens when flood protection is left to chance. It happened in Dubai, a place where you wouldn't immediately expect heavy rain and flooding. Doesn't it mean it can happen anywhere? That is, by the way, what we hear again and again. Oh, at my place, it will never happen. And then you turn on the television and you get news from somewhere in the world. And when the journalists are interviewing the people who live there, You know what? Always one of them is always saying, "Oh, it never happened before. We did not expect that." Do you see something? That is always the same pattern. And doesn't it mean it can happen anywhere? Hotels are not just buildings. There are systems, complex networks of power, plumbing, access, logistics, guest service, kitchen, storage, events. I think in Metro Manila, I've visited almost every 5-star hotel already, or many of them. And very often the engineering department is located in the basement. And it is not only the basement, because that is kind of village underneath a 5-star hotel. Yeah, because you have all the craftsmen over there. You know, there's a warehouse, stocking rooms for all these appliances, accessories, where when you have these parties, you know, at the end of the year, or for Christmas, or for whatever. And the laundry, very often the food is prepared in the basement before it finds the way to the restaurants upstairs, and so on and so forth. So a flooded lobby isn't just wet tiles. It is electric failure, catering shutdowns, cancelled weddings, negative online reviews, lost brand reputation of the hotel, insurance issues, months of renovation. And now here's a real question. Who is responsible for ensuring this doesn't happen? The architect? The hotel owner? The general manager? The maintenance engineer? Flood protection isn't only about steel barriers. It's about foresight, planning, engineering, assessments, risk analysis, and the will to act before the storm. And yes, there are flood barriers that do work. Tested to the toughest standards, installed with precision, with automatic or manual systems to fit every heritage hotels. That's the good news, right? Isn't it? And I just want to share one golden nugget with you. One big truth. Here's what you should take away from this episode. The guest doesn't care why the hotel lobby is flooded. They just want to check in and feel safe. And your hotel cannot provide that basic promise. You won't just lose a booking. You lose trust if your hotel cannot provide that basic promise. And once that's gone, it's almost impossible to win back. You will most probably choose another hotel and stay there. So in this, if this episode made you pause and reflect, good. This podcast exists to challenge the false security of wishful thinking and replace it with real protection strategies. So how to protect? I mentioned something. There are manual systems, there are doors and gates, automatic systems. I always say every building can be flood protected, and there is a technology that will fit for exactly your challenge. And if you like to know more about it, today it is not about the technical solutions. By the way, this storm, this heavy rainfall in Dubai, that took everybody by surprise. Car shops lost hundreds of high-end sports cars or high-end VIP cars. Let me tell it this way. I will not mention any brand here, but hundreds, because they were all stored in the basement. And then what will happen is the next days the sun will shine, the people clean up the mess. But the thing is, the insurance will most probably not pay for a second time, and then you are responsible for your damage on your own. So, if you want to know more about it, subscribe to Flood Protection Secrets wherever you get your podcasts, if you haven't done so, or contact me directly. My name is Andreas Klippe, German engineer, entrepreneur, and flood protection expert. So I will share my knowledge and my experience with you if you like so. visit the flood experts at our Asian headquarters in the Philippines or in Germany, the European headquarters. Check the links in the show description here at this podcast. We offer assessments, solutions, and above all, peace of mind. That's it for today's episode. Stay safe and flood-free. I wish and hope for you that you make the right decisions when it comes to your personal flood protection. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this podcast channel if you haven't already. Now it only remains for me to wish you a good day. Do something with it. Maybe until the next podcast episode. I would be very happy. See you then. As always, stay safe and flood-free. Your Andreas Klippe and the whole Flood Experts team.
That's it again with a new episode of Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe, German engineer, book author, and head of the Flood Experts. What can Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe protect for you? Anytime? Worldwide? Contact us or just click through to www.floodexperts.de/bonus. Detailed engineering, German quality, safe. Flood protection secrets. The secrets you'll want to unfold.
Don't forget, you're only one flood barrier away.
Subscribe to the season, and you'll never be late for an episode.